Okay, let's make a start at putting in the turbo. We'll need one torch, like so. If you're inside, you will need some tools and maybe a bucket of bolts. You will need the turbo. You need to jack your car up so you can get underneath. You'll need a pen to write down important notes and a rag to clean your hands with. So on the oil pipe there, I put on the two 10mm bolts with the gasket in between, if you can see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide the turbo down and bolt it with these four 14mm bolts to the exhaust manifold, and that's where it will go, and there's the gasket that will go in between. So the gasket sits like this, like there. Make a bit more room, I'm going to remove the dipstick, and that is one 12mm bolt just here. There you go. Now the dipstick is free. If you look down there, the dipstick will just pull out like this. Like that. And on the end of the dipstick is an O-ring. You've got to make sure that that O-ring is in a good condition. Make sure you put the 12mm bolt that you took out back in the hole so you don't lose it later. Now you see we have a bit more space. So I've placed the turbo in position and I've just put in two of the bolts just to hold it. At the moment it's loose. You know, you can move it like that. And that's kind of important because you want a bit of wiggle room to get all the other fittings together. Okay, so underneath the car we want there's the turbo, the underside. We want to connect this oil dump pipe. So we're going to put this clip over the rubber, clip him in, and then that's that little bit connected, and then we'll bolt it up. So let me just do that. And there it is, clipped in. The movement of leaving the oil pipe loose is useful for doing this and getting that clipped in. Now there's a 14mm bolt that then goes in this bracket here. So another, again, a little bit jiggy pokery, and then that will go in. Okay. As you can see, I'm just tightening this 14mm bolt holding the oil pipe bracket to the engine block, which I will be leaving just a slightly loose, just for the time being, until we are absolutely ready to tighten that up, just in case I have to either one, loosen it again, or two, just for a bit of wiggle room. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, so the next step is to put the stay into there, so it holds the turbo to the engine block. And the stay is this item here, and that goes in there like so. Like so. So again, I'm just putting it there, just keeping it loose for the moment. And then, if I put in loose, there's two 12mm bolts that hold this to the engine block. So again, if I just put one in, there, and the other in above it. Keeping it loose means you can get all these bolts in, and then you can just tighten them up when you're ready. So again, it's got the movement. So my next step is I'm now going to tighten up the 4 bolts to pull the turbo into the final position. Also, there is no room to get a ratchet under, so you've got to use a closed end spanner. Okay, like this. Actually, I forgot they're 14, aren't they? So I use just a closed end like this until it gets snug. And it'll be the same on this one and the bottom 2, except the bottom 2 you can get to from underneath, and I'll show you that. I don't know if you can see it, but dead ahead there is one of the bolts. Now I just took the turbo stay off, and then the other one, which is really cheeky, is there. And the way I get to them is with 2, I'll show you now, 2 ratchet extensions like this. It's just so much easier. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. It's a bit tricky to show you. Now I'm tightening it. That's the one on the right. And now the one on the left. Hold on. There you go. Hold on. Yeah, he's on. Okay, so I've tightened those 2 bolts behind this, and I've put this back again. Okay. The best way to tighten them up is by using a 15mm on the end of a 14, just to give you the extra leverage to torque it. And on the other bolt, it's the same thing. Let's torque that up. Now this is the gasket that goes to the downpipe, to the turbo. So that gasket goes like this, like that, and then that slides on like so. Now it's time to put on the downpipe. So now the downpipe is onto the turbo manifold. I just had to loosen up a little bit just to, so I could wiggle it, because this oil cooler is the most annoyingly located thing in the whole universe. Now it's just a case of putting the 14mm bolts on. There's 6 in total, and then bolting that up to the turbo. So I've tightened all 6 bolts as much as I could. The only one you can't really get to is that one there. I had to use a closed end spanner and then another one on the end to give it extra leverage. Okay, so now I'm going over the top and the bottom, tightening everything I've done, also making sure that the 2 10mm are done up on the coolant line and the 2 12mm are done on the oil line underneath. Every bolt that you've seen now gets tightened up to the correct setting. To show you, on the bottom coolant one, there's one, you can tighten that up like that. But a nice deep socket like this fits in there lovely. And then you can tighten that up as necessary. There you go. While you're here as well, is just connect your coolant pipes up, 1 and 2, and the other vacuum pipe to the actuator, just there. From the bottom actuator vacuum pipe thing to this pipe, I need a bit of new pipe, so I'm just going to do that, cut it to length, and use the clamps on the original. And the reason why is, 1, it's a bit too short, and 2, the piece of pipe that was on there had a crack on it, quite a big crack, so that means you'd lose boost. So yeah, use a bit of silicone pipe and join those two together. Easy. So I've pushed the pipe on there, fully on, line it up, get your pen, mark up how much you want, give it a cut. Remove that clip there just to be able to get in there. The tricky bit is to try and get in such a tight space the clips on, but should be able to do it. Okay, so I've got the 2 coolant pipes connected. I've got the 2 vacuum pipes now connected with the new one there, which is a lot better. Now we're going to do the banjo bolt, which is this big one, 27mm, with 2 washers, and that's right down there. Can you see him? Let's give this a go. With a magnet, I'm going to place the washer. I'm going to place the washer underneath, and then I'll put the banjo bolt through with the washer on the bolt. The first part done with the magnet and the washer, and now I've got to get that in the hole with this washer.